Welcome everyone to Magic with Class. I'm Jeremy Class. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I recently purchased 1,000 bulk rares from eBay from a seller. I don't think I'm going to reveal the seller's information in this video, and I don't think he sells very often because this was the only item he had up for sale. So it was 1,000. He said, bulk rares, but it had some foils, and I think it had a few mythics. So I decided to purchase it. It cost about $108 after like taxes and fees and everything about that. So about 108 through 110 or through 110. So that's pretty standard, I would say, for 1,000 bulk rares. Typically, you can get one bulk rare card for 10 cents, or 10 for $1, or 100 for $10. So I got 1,000 of them for approximately $100, including shipping, taxes, fees. So I haven't really gone through it. I think I went through it very, very quickly, and then I just put it in a box. But now I'm going to go through it a little more carefully. I have not looked up the prices of any of these cards. Most of them are going to be absolute bulk, probably not even worth the 10 cents I paid per card. However, if I miss something, or you see a card that has recently gone up in value that I'm not aware of, please let me know in the comments. And this is not how it was shipped. I forgot actually how it was shipped, but it was shipped very well. The cards were all in, fair condition. The seller did say that some of these were played cards, so they're not going to be in near mint or excellent condition. They're all like played, maybe light play condition. Some are more moderately played. There was like two or three. No, there was about 10 cards in total that were heavily played, and actually they were just damaged, so I threw them out. But let's go over what these 1,000 cards are. The duplication actually was not particularly high, which is good because sometimes when you buy bulk rares, especially in the thousands, you tend to get a lot of duplication. But I appreciated that this didn't have as much duplication. So I'm going to show you some of the cards. Some of them are new, fairly new from recent sets. Some of them are a little bit older. So let's begin. So I'm just going to show them on the screen. If I want to talk a little bit about the card, I will. Okay, Allure of the Unknown. I know that at first there was some speculation that this card was going to do something. It does have an interesting and fairly unique effect. This is coming from a more recent set, Theros Beyond. Another card from Theros Beyond. And yet another. This is a legendary creature. This card is very interesting because when it enters, you can choose the number 2, 3, or 4 at random, and then it has protection from each converted mana cost other than the chosen number. So this card is basically Achilles. It's meant to represent Achilles from mythology. Achilles' only weakness was his heel, and this card is only weak to one random converted mana cost. It's very interesting. It's double red, double white. I have not seen this played too much as a commander, but if you're interested in seeing like a deck tech video with any of the legendary creatures that I showed today, including this one, again, let me know in the comments, and I'll build a deck, maybe with some of these bulk rares. Living Twister. Just a red-green elemental. Oh, this is a mythic, Vorapede. This is from... Well, this is not the original printing, but Vorapede was a mythic from one of the original Innistrad sets, I believe, because it has Undying, right? Yep, Undying. It's weak compared to today's standards, with green getting some pretty broken creatures. Jace's Sanctum. This is bulk, but it's pretty good actually in Commander. I see that there's a symbol here. I actually don't remember what this symbol means. I think it means that this is not an original printing either. So if you know what that symbol symbolizes, Again, let me know. Eldrazi Mimic. This card actually might be worth a few dollars. Most of the Eldrazi have risen in price over the years. Without their Forge Master. Again, probably not a high value card, but this is actually a very good tutor in Commander. So if you have an artifact deck that's looking to combo off, you can go worse than a card like this. Oh, another artifact, Life Crafter's Bestiary. So you get to scry, and whenever you cast a creature card, you may pay 1 green, and if you do, you draw a card. That's actually pretty good in Commander, especially in decks like Elves, where you're just spamming a whole bunch of creatures and they can produce mana as well. Wouldn't recommend that in Elf deck. Brittle Effigy, not particularly good. I don't think I would play this card much. Abandoned Sarcophagus, which is a good card only in a cycling deck, I would say. Myr Battlespear. Myr are pretty popular. As of now, Myr are only from, or I think people pronounce it Mir actually, but I usually pronounce it Myr, but I think it is pronounced Mir. Anyway, Myr or Myr are from Mirrodin only, and I pronounce it Mirrodin instead of Mirrodin, which is how I hear most people pronouncing it. However, interesting card for Commander. Hope to see more of this creature type in other sets. I think it's a shame that this is exclusive to only one world. Scraps Heap Scrounger. This actually saw play in Kaladesh. When Kaladesh was one of the newest sets, it actually saw a lot of play. It was good to crew. Right, people used it to crew those 2 broken vehicles, Smuggler's Copter and Heart of Kiran. Okay, this card is fairly old, and I would say it's in light or moderate play. It's an equipment for Kamigawa. This is actually one of the first equipment cards ever produced, because Mirrodin was the first to have equipment, and then Kamigawa block came right after. So this was actually one of the first equipments. Not bad. It can function as mass removal, but I think you would have to find a way to force your opponent to block with a creature. Jar of Eyeballs for one of the Innistrad sets, not sure which one. What does it do? Is it like Scries or something? Yeah, like this does a version of Scry. Oh, another Mythic. Gonti's Aether Heart. Again, another Mythic rare from the Kaladesh era. And I actually really like this card. And I actually have a number of them. I usually pick this card up if I see it like below a certain amount. First of all, it's legendary, which is becoming more and more advantageous as time moves on. But also, this is a time walk effect. It lets you take an extra turn, and any card that allows you to take an extra turn, I kind of collect and make sure I have at least 4 or 5 copies, because you never know when take an extra turn card is going to start seeing a ton of play. And if energy ever comes back, this card might be a thing in Modern. Let's say energy was a very powerful mechanic. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some energy cards in Modern Horizons too. Sentinel Tower. This is from Battle Bond. It's like a storm type card, I would say. In a spellcaster deck, a deck that is all about sorceries and instants, I definitely think that you could find a place for this card. But the thing is, it's not a sorcery and instant itself, so you have to kind of be careful how many non-sorcery and instant cards you're going to put in a Spellslinger type deck. Another card from Battle Bond. This is like a mana rock. I think there are better mana rocks out there. It does untap during each player's untap step. So if you have a deck that maybe a green-blue deck that functions around flash or on untapping permanents in between turns, so that you can use your cards on each of your opponent's turns. I could see a deck being made using that card. Key to the City. I don't really have much to say about that. Trading Post. Very versatile. Does like a million things. Can't fault you for playing Trading Post. Another copy of Key to the City. Another Eldrazi Mimic. And I think this card is actually worth a few dollars. I don't think this is absolute bulk. And I can see this going up in value too. Lux Cannon. This was a mythic when it was first released. In a deck that untaps permanents, has a continuous way to untap permanent cards, this is not bad. Ratchet Bomb. Colorless removal. Not awful. Engineered Explosives is better. I don't think this will see much play. Maybe in Commander, in a deck that doesn't have a lot of removal. There was actually a few copies of Ratchet Bomb included, and a few of them were damaged. So I think whoever sold me this collection really liked the card Ratchet Bomb. It was like, there was like 4 or 5, and like 3 or 4 of them I had to throw out because they were just in awful condition. Spark Hunter Massacre. Oh, this is brand new. This is from M21. I just don't like Massacres at all because they all require you to discard a card. This one only requires you to discard a card once, and it's excellent against Planeswalkers, so maybe if your friend has an Atraxa Commander deck and you really want to counter it, this is decent. But honestly, I think there are better options. And I guess this was meant to counter a lot of the powerful Planeswalkers that they've been making lately, ever since War of the Spark. But so far, I don't think it's seen any play. Here's another one. Same card. This is from one of the Ravnica sets. I think the most recent one. For 5 mana, For 5 mana, it's a mana rock, but whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you get to draw a card. Even in Commander, I don't think so. I think there are better cards that allow you to both draw and produce mana. Chamber Sentry. I actually thought this was gonna be a good card at one point. I remember like picking them up. I was like, ooh, X in the cost. X can be anything. Oh, and a 5-color activated ability. But nope. This is from, I'm pretty sure it's from one of the Commander sets. It allows you to draw a card, but only if you control 3 lands that are the same. No. I don't think this was from Commander. I think this is from one of the, I don't know. You tell me what set this is from. But anyway, it was supposed to give red and white draw, basically. A colorless way for red and white Commander decks specifically to draw a card, because mono white or mono red would run a lot of basic lands. So the probability that you would have 3 lands of the same color in a mono red or mono white deck are very good, actually. So, you know, if you are running a Commander deck and you need the draw power, you could do much worse than this. Only 2 mana too, and it's an artifact. Oh, this card is not bulk. At least I do not think it's bulk. Masterwork of Ingenuity. If it is bulk, it will not stay bulk forever. Because for 1 mana, it enters the battlefield as a copy of any equipment. So any equipment-based deck, especially Commander, would run this. And even outside of Commander, I would expect eventually this card to see some type of competitive play. Because it just costs 1 and it can copy equipment. And equipment can be extremely strong. So some Stoneforge Mystic deck is going to come around that uses this as a tech one day, I'm sure. Another one. So overall, you know, there's a lot of artifacts and colorless cards, and some of them do not seem like they would be worth something. Oh, and just so that you see, I'm wearing my red mana shirt today. I actually wish I had a shirt like this in all 5 colors. I only have the red one. I do like red. I do like playing red, but I like all the colors pretty much. Not so much white. I think white is my out of all the 5 colors. I think white is my least favorite, but that has nothing to do with like the power level of white in Commander. I just never appealed to me. I always felt like white was a weaker version of green. I don't know. That's not even. That's just an opinion. That's not even. It's just my thoughts. Next card. It's a foil, Celestial Dawn. So this was originally from Time Spiral, and it was on that extra Time Spiral sheet, and you can tell because of the purple set symbol. But this is not from the original Time Spiral, and you can, even though it has the original border, and you can tell from this little symbol right here. So this is actually a list card. This card comes from the list, which is a pretty cool card to get out of your Zendikar Rising set booster, right? You could do worse. Here's another one. So I wonder how common these are. If someone opened 2 of them. Hex Parasite. This is another pretty good card. Do not underestimate the ability to manipulate counters, especially for the low cost of 1 mana. Next is Bloodhole Priest. They made a Madness Vampire Commander in one of the recent Commander sets, like one of the Commander decks. The main Commander was, what was it? It was Falcon Wrath. And this is the only place I think I would play this card, in that Falcon Wrath Madness discard deck. Alright, here's a split card. Notice that this card has Fuse, meaning that if you have 7 mana, you can cast both sides of this. Not every single split card has Fuse, so you cannot do that with all of them. And one more thing, because this was like, and you could use both sides. They called these cards, there was so Flesh and Blood is how they referred to these cards. Dark Intimations. I always thought this card was interesting, especially in a theme deck centered around Nicol Bolas, because it allows him to enter the battlefields with another loyalty counter on it. If they make more Nicol Bolas Planeswalkers, and they're gonna, but probably not for a little while, I could imagine this will see some play in Commander, but I don't think there's ever going to be like a competitive Nicol Bolas tribal type deck. Oh, next card is another card from the Kaladesh Error, Depala Pilot Exemplar. So not only does this card support Dwarf Tribal, which I believe is going to be a serious thing come Kaldheim. I believe Kaldheim is going to have plenty of dwarfs and dwarf support cards. So this card may climb in value. And it's actually a pretty good commander for a vehicle type deck, a deck based on vehicles, and they're going to make more vehicles as well. So keep your eye on this card. It is bulk right now, but I expect this card to go up in value eventually. And since they're gonna tie dwarves to like artifacts, and creating things, especially in Kaldheim, because I believe in Norse mythology the dwarves were artificers. So I could definitely see this card going up in value. This card, this is from like the Allure era, and this was from the Shard Grixis. And it has even the Grixis keyword, which was unearthed. It was uncommon in the set. This is the first printing, but Sangromancer. I used to think this card was absolute garbage, but try playing this in a deck where you force. Try playing this in a commander game where you have 3 opponents and you're using a ton of cards, that force everyone to draw and discard their entire hand, you will see this get out of hand very quickly. I underestimated this card. Still both though. Still not worth anything. Well of Ideas. This is just a variant like of the Howl. Like this is a blue version of like Howling Mine. Tidal Force. Interesting in like a 4-player game because you can tap or untap a card at the start of every single turn, yours and your opponent's. So maybe in a deck that untaps. So I'm going to continue this video and show you some more cards that I got out of this purchase. But I'm going to cut the video right now. This is Jeremy Class, always reminding you to gather with class, like, comment, subscribe. And I'm going to put up another video very soon. Thanks, guys.